way. She is my mother. She is my mother who is with me in my house today also. She is 92-year-old lady. Even now she commands me. She says, you do this and don't do that. I take her advice sincerely. You know me, I was looking like this in my 7th class, 1964. I was a grown-up boy, slightly grown up. Look at the canopy of hay that I had. And of course, this is my better half. I got married in 1971 on 16th May. Today is 15th now. Tomorrow is my marriage day. I wish I had this opportunity of speaking to you tomorrow. It's okay. I got married to my beloved wife, Rajalakshmi, and this was when I was doing my BSc, 1970-73. It's a 3-year course now. Remember, I am a BSc student with a CBZ background, chemistry, botany and zoology background. You may wonder how I became a space scientist in the subsequent slides. I did my MSc in botany from Vikram University, Ujjain, very prestigious university, in 1974-76. This is my head of the department signature on my photograph, Professor Lalan Prasad Mal, signed here. And then, that was emergency time. I was elected unanimously by the Vikram University management as vice president of that student union because of my merit in my MSc. And after that, my first job was where Raghav is now working. That was the National Remote Sensing Agency, not the National Remote Sensing Center of ISRO. That time, 1978, my first job was at NRSA, National Remote Sensing Agency, which was under Department of Science and Technology of Government of India, not under ISRO those days. It was under Science and Technology Department. So that was again after my MSc and MPhil, and the designation I had was Scientific Assistant B, which I showed you know. In ISRO there are posts like Scientific Assistant, or you can also call Research Assistant like that. Then I resigned in 1980 and went there to join IIT Kharagpur, Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur. That was my second job as a research officer, junior research officer. I served there only for 2 years. Remember how my background has helped to become a space scientist in ISRO. Here, I have learned a lot at NRSA, like the way Raghav is learning a lot there. And here, I acquired those research skills. Research is very important in any space research, in any research organization. The techniques of conducting the research and addressing the scientific problem, I learned it here. Before that, I must also say, because of my meritorious academic career, the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research has given me a fellowship, research fellowship of 400 rupees only per month. It was 400 rupees only per month, and I was managing my family with my wife and 2 children with this 400 rupees fellowship also. At where? Vikram University, Ujjain, 400 rupees only, and paying 120 rupees house rent and 280 rupees only for maintenance of the family. You appreciate what I am saying? Okay, then my third job was, I should say with pride, that my third job was at Earth Observation Systems Program Office at ISRO's headquarters in 1982 as Scientist Engineer, SC. I mentioned to you the beginning scale in ISRO. Then my fourth job was as head of the center and as project director of 3 projects. Project director of ISRO is a very prestigious post those days. And that was my fourth job. I was head of the Center of Regional Remote Sensing Service Center of ISRO, and that was my fourth job. And the fifth job was, I was director of Northeastern Space Application Center at Shillong, Meghalaya. I went from Bangalore to Shillong, beyond Calcutta and Guwahati and beyond. And there I was director, and under my directorship, this huge building was built nicely. And we have given a 10-acre land bought from the Meghalaya Electricity Board, and we have a full-fledged facility there now. And many of the UVICA programs, even training courses, several of those 8 states of Northeast go to that center for learning the geospatial technology and satellite communication, and even atmospheric science programs are learned there. The 6th job is, of course, I came back to Indian Space Research Organization. What I left at this time, I came back to ISRO headquarters as program director for ISRO's Geosphere Biosphere program. It's a pretty nationwide program where I was providing guidance to several institutions who are contributing to the ISRO's Geosphere Biosphere program. And I was program director at that place. So that was my, so in other words, what I try to communicate to you is, it's a substance, it's a sum and substance of what I said earlier. But what I had acquired, the additional skills I had learned, apart from my MSc or a doctorate in sciences, is the work experience that I got at NRSA those days, in the beginning days. And that was a pioneering research which I did. In fact, you can say it's a sort of discovery that remotely sensed data, particularly the information present in the red band and the near-infrared band of the spectrum, electromagnetic spectrum, is a direct relationship with the plant growth parameters and growth of the crops, was a sort of discovery, research finding based on sugarcane crop and rice. This was the first of its kind research done by me under the able leadership of my boss, Dr. R.S. Iyengar, who is a doctorate from Cornell University, Dhaka, from the United States of America. He was my boss. I don't know who is boss of Raghavendra now. A Cornell Ithaca doctorate is my boss. And under his direction, I did this research. And the first of its research finding was published by me. You see, Dr. R.S. Iyengar, my boss, immediate boss, and Nageswara, and K.R. Rao. He is none other than Wing Commander K.R. Rao, pretty senior IFS officer, Indian Air Force officer, who is director of NRSA, Madam Gandhi. Indira Gandhi picked up Wing Commander K.R. Rao and placed him as director of this NRSA those days, National Remote Sensing Agency, not center of ISRO. So that time, the research findings, what I have done, plowed fields, unplowed dry fields, rice crop, sugarcane, finger millet, this is ragi crop, and grass. How they respond in the spectral ratio of infrared by red ratio as a function of time, and how the ratio changes over time is what has been done by me. It's a first of its kind in ISRO, in India. Not even Space Application Center of ISRO has done this earlier than me. And this research has given me a very strong foundation and understanding of the subject called remote sensing. And that's how I could be able to face any of the interview at ISRO and be able to get selected on the first interview itself. And on the first ISRO interview when I appeared, there were 17 people. Out of those 17 people, only 2 persons were picked up by ISRO, Nageswara and one Anil Kumar Gupta from IIT Kanpur. That's all. 2 people only. Only 2 people were selected out of 17 people. It was a day-long interview, right from 8 o'clock till 8 o'clock in the evening. And only 2 persons were picked up. And that was the opportunity that I got, and I was able to do. And in fact, except Professor Vikram Sarabhai, I have not worked under Vikram Sarabhai. Professor Satish Dhawan, Professor R. Rao, Dr. Kastur Rangan, Madhavan Nair, and Radhakrishnan Sir. All 5 of them, I have worked under them, directly reporting to them. Though there was a senior officer, but every time when some subject related to applications of satellite remote sensing for agriculture, Professor Satish Dhawan and Dr. Professor R. Rao call PPN. PPN means My name is a pretty long name. Name Nageswara. There was nobody to call me by that long name in ISRO. So everybody calls PPN, and Professor Rao marks PPN. And CA of Yashoda marks that paper to PPN, and PPN has to rush to Professor Rao's chamber and understand what his problem is. His problem is many times being a cosmic ray physicist. Professor Rao was a cosmic ray physicist. And doubts related to agriculture and forestry applications, he has to depend on me. There were none other than Nageswara to answer Professor Rao's difficult questions those days. And of course, that's in fact, Professor Satish Dhawan has given me, on a small yellow slip, no post-it, a small slip. He has written there, disasters in India, can remote sensing do something? This was a task given by Professor Satish Dhawan to us. We are only two people there that time. To us, how this technology called remote sensing will help preventing and managing the disasters in India. And a half a sentence and a small slip. We too, under the leadership of another senior scientist, three of us, have produced a report of about 295 pages, 275 pages report. Even today, that report, what was written by us, is in the library of ISRO headquarters library, and that has become a reading material for MTech students of Karnataka State Remote Sensing Application Center of VTU, degree offered in VTU. I hope that report is useful.
Yes, sir, very useful.
A copy of that I have given it to all of them.
Yes, sir.
In fact, a few days back, one presently senior director of ISRO came to a function in KSR SAC. I was sitting like this in the front row, and he was delivering his closing ceremony talk. And J.B. Thomas, he has gone recently to our library, and just like that he was referring to the old reports and books, and he saw this report of ours written by us called Disasters in India, Can Remote Sensing Do Something? And he says on the open forum very recently, hardly 10 days back, that there are several research areas what we have envisaged in that report not yet addressed by ISRO. You appreciate what I am saying? The research scope and the research ideas that what we have envisaged in 1982, in beginning days of my career in ISRO, is yet to be realized by ISRO even in 2026. Despite the fact that ISRO is in the world's one of the best spacefaring nations, spacefaring organizations. This was appreciated and accepted by the senior director of ISRO program office at ISRO headquarters. I was pleasantly hearing that day and patting myself in my conscience that what was done by us was such a good report. So,
have you had any interaction with Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, sir?
Next slide is that.
Okay.
Wait for that.
Yeah.
The next slide is that.
This is the answer.
Dr. Kalam, SLV-3 was a successful launch, and Dr. Kalam, being a project director of SLV, has to be given some job. He is such a senior scientist. His placing in any of the centers of ISRO centers would be difficult for the director who is already working there as director. Therefore, Professor Dhawan picked up Dr. Kalam and placed him in the Kaveri Bhavan 8th block, reporting to Professor Dhawan, who is chair of ISRO. And you remember, and I am very glad to tell you that, his room was room number 803 in F block of Kaveri Bhavan, and mine was room number 808, opposite to his chamber, when Dr. Kalam was sitting in his headquarters. And what was the occasion, I was working on that, optical device. And, in a dark room, all lights are off, only 4 lights were on. And on a table like this, I have put a satellite image and tracing sheet over it, and with a pencil I was drawing something. And after lunchtime, Dr. Kalam came behind me and he came straight away to the place where I was working, bending like this. He has put his right hand on my shoulder and asked me, what's your name first? He has asked me. I said, I am Nageswara. Nageswara, what is this? Is this a hardware-based or software-based equipment? I asked. In 1982, my knowledge of hardware is Asian Paints, and then Andhras, heads and boards, phones, and I don't know what is software. I am basically image interpretation man. Tracing sheet and pencil was my technology those days, and that was the greatest technology to produce a research paper published in a peer-reviewed journal. So, then since I don't know what is software, and I pretty well know that what the instrument with which I was working was not a Asian Paints or other hardware shop, then I simply said, sir, this is an optomechanical device where the light from these four lenses are coming and converted with a lens from this. And I had the advantage of using the 4 spectral bands of Landsat MSS for making a false color composite. These days, the color composite, what you made with a digital laptop is much easy. But olden days, I have to use a optomechanical device and allowing the light to pass through blue, orange, not orange, magenta, and another source color, cellophane color sheet through which the light is falling and converting. So I have explained that it is an optomechanical device. Then another question, so what is that you are interpreting with your pencil? That was the second question from Dr. Kalam. I said, sir, I am looking at the figure of crop growth of wheat crop in Punjab state, Indian Punjab state versus the Punjab state in Pakistan. Oh, like this, exactly like this. He went for a few step behind. Oh, what is that you are discovering? What is that intelligence you are collecting on the borders across India? Are you collecting the intelligence from across the country? Yes, sir, I am trying to understand the growth potential and vigor of wheat crop. How much would the Indian wheat of Punjab and versus the Punjab wheat of Pakistan? I am trying to make a quick judgment on it. Then he gave a little pat on my back and said, continue, go ahead. These are the only 2 words here. Continue and go ahead, do it. Like that he said. So that was my encounter with Dr. Kalam in ISRO headquarters, where after the launch of SLV-3 in 1982, somewhere around November, December time frame, this was. Okay, I will close it and slowly, I'm sure you are tired. Are you tired?
No, sir.